Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're learning how to draw a helix up on a cylinder in AutoCAD. Now, the problem we are solving says that we are to draw a helix of one convolution up on a given cylinder of 80mm pitch and a 50mm diameter of the cylinder. Now, before we jump into AutoCAD and start our drawing, let's quickly break down what this means. Alright, now a helix is simply a curve that winds around a cylinder, much like thread or screw thread. Alright, or you can think about it like a spring of a pen, or just general spring that you might know about. The pitch is generally, or the pitch of the helix, you can think about the pitch of the helix as the axial advance. What does this mean? In one complete turn. Now in this case, our pitch is actually 80mm. Now when you think about the pitch, we're talking about how many times the coil or the helix goes around the object, if you want to think about it like that. So, and you'll see how things progress as we go along in the video, and I'll try to explain it as best as possible. So let's get into things. Now the first thing that you're going to do is to draw the cylinder, both the plan view and the front elevation, if you want to call it that. Alright, so let's go ahead and enter our circle command. So I'm pressing C, press enter. That will give me my circle. Then I'll simply click, and then I'll enter 25 for the radius, since the diameter is 50. I'll then draw a rectangle, REC, press enter. Let me go here, probably click about here, and I'll enter these following measurement. Now the diameter is the first measurement that we're going to enter, which is 50mm. So I'm going to enter 50, and then I'm going to press the tab key on my keyboard. The next thing I'm going to do is enter the 80mm. Alright, there you go. Alright, let me move things a bit close. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move my circle below, like about there or so. Alright. Alright, so I hope everybody can see what is going on here. Let me put these on my... Alright. Now, once we have that in place, the step remains similar to what we have done in other videos, where you're simply going to be dividing, alright, up the different shapes that we have here. Alright, again, I'm going to be dividing this circle here into 8 equal parts. How am I going to do this? Line command. Let me find the center of this object. Click, move and draw to the end here. I'll select this line, go here to array, click on the drop down menu and select the one that says polar array. Click in the center right here. Alright, by default you're going to have 6 divisions, so you can always go ahead and change the item number here to 8. Now you have 8 divisions. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm also going to be dividing this side of the vertical line here of this rectangle into the same number of division of what I have here. Alright, so I divided the circle into 8 equal parts. I'm going to divide this line here into 8 equal parts. But before we do that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be exploding this rectangle here. So I've already selected my rectangle. I'm going to type X on my keyboard and then press enter. That will separate the line, as you can see there. Now I'm going to go DIV for divide, press enter, and then click on this line here. Once I've done so, the next thing I'm going to do is enter the number of division. As you see here, it says enter the number of segments. I'm going to enter 8 and press enter. You're not going to see anything happen here now, so I want you to type this TP and then TP PT and then press enter. Then you're going to change it to one of these other options here. I'm going to select this one here, I'm going to go to absolute, change this here to, let's try 1, and then OK. Alright, once I have those divisions in place, I'm going to draw some horizontal line from those divisions. So I'm going to activate my line command. Let me press L on my keyboard, then press enter. I'm going to draw a line from here all the way across to here. Alright, once I have that first one in place, I'm simply going to select, then type CP to copy, press enter, click on this point here. If you're unable to select these here, ensure that for your OSNAP feature right here, you have node checked. Alright, if it's not checked, you won't be able to select these. Alright, I'm going to grab onto it here, and I'm simply going to place copies at each one of those division points here. Alright, not so bad, is it? And remember, we're doing one convolution, aka one pitch, if you want to call it that. Now we're going to number these points. Alright, we're going to number these points. Now something I generally do is that whenever you have your figure like this, I tend to crank it just a tad. So for example, I simply rotate this RO so that none of them are completely vertical to this plane here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rotate that just a tad. Alright, let me turn off ortho for this, and I could rotate it probably about like here or so. It doesn't really matter all that much. Alright, that's what I'm going to do. Now that it's like that, the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to be labeling my points. So I'm going to label all my points now. Let me go to my annotation tab right there. Click on text tool here, select multi-line. That's just my preference. You could use single line as well. Click here, draw that there, and then you're going to enter 1. Alright, now once you have that one there in place, let me turn off our OSNAP here. I'm going to decrease the size of this text here to so I just selected it. I'm going to change it to probably 2 or so. That should work. Once I have that in place, again, I'm going to copy that text here. Let me turn on OSNAP. I'm going to make copies at the other location, and I'm going to be numbering all these points here as well. Alright, all these points, including here and here. Alright, and all you have to do now is simply go through and label all those and rename those points. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to also number these points as well. I'm going to number these points here as well. Alright, so I'm going to go here and grab onto my number, CP, and then continue. So this is 1, that's this one right here. Then we have 2, 3, 4. Oops. Let me turn off OSNAP there because it's snapping. And I'll go through and number all these points that I have here. Alright, this one here, we'll call it P. Alright, so the first point that we're going to call P, that's 1. This is 2. Let me go through and rename them. 2. This one here is 3. And making my way around. I'm at 4 now. I'm at 5, 6, 7, and as you know, this one here is P. Again, this one here is going to be called P as well. P, 1, this is 2, we're at 3 now, 3, 4, we're at 5 now, making our way to 6, on to 7, on to 7, and then finally this point here is also point 8. or you could call it P8, it doesn't really matter. Alright, now once that is in place, and I think I'm going to do something here to make things a bit clearer or less confusing for you. Draw a line down. And let me grab onto these. Alright, select and then RO. Grab onto it right here. I'm going to click on reference, here to here. Let me turn off ortho. Here to here. Then right there. Alright, cool. So I put it back to where it was originally. Alright, just to make things simpler. Now once you have that in place, what you're going to do, you're simply going to project lines up to touch these points here. So for example, this here will go to here, if you want to think about it like that. 1 passes through 8 and goes all the way up to touch the top here, and then you simply repeat the process for all the other locations. Alright, what I'm going to do here is simply copy this here and simply place it at the other locations, such as over by 3 and at 6 there. Alright, now similar to other spleen drawing that we have done, where we simply match the numbers, if you want to call it that, where P, wherever P line touches P horizontal, that's a point that's right in the corner right here. Alright, so that's the first one there. Alright, the next one would be 2, 1 right here. Wherever 1 touch 1 line, so here's the 1 line, here's the 1 horizontal, that's the intersection. We put another point right there. Alright, and I'm guessing you understand what is going on now. So the next point now would be right here, and the next one would be right here, and then you'll have number 4 point being wherever 4 and 4 intersects. Here's 4, here is 4, that's where it should be. Point is right here. Once you have done so, you make your way to number 5 now. Number 5 line touches number 5 line right here. And I'm guessing you get the drift of what's happening. The next one is going to be a step up and a step further across. Step up and a step further across, and then finally here. So here we have them. So here's P, P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, and finally we have P8 there, if you want to think about it like that. Alright, so what am I saying here? These points have names, alright, and I simply call them P1 for point 1, if you want to call it that. So this in essence is point 1. Let me show you something. So I'm going to enter 1 there, select my 1, select this one here, and it will look like that. Then we have P2 here, P3, so on and so forth. So you can go through and label yours. If this is an SBA piece for you, you just ensure that you label your points. Don't forget to dimension your drawings, because marks is given for dimension. Alright, you can't not dimension your drawing. What would you dimension on something like this? You'll dimension the diameter of this here, you'll dimension the pitch of this here. So basically the dimensions that were given to you. Alright, so let me go ahead and place these on my construction layer. Likewise these on my construction layer. Now once I have all of that in place, what I'm going to be doing now is that I'm going to be drawing my spleen line. So I'm going to go to draw spleen, starting at P, make my way to P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, and P8. And now the fancy part, where we simply move the cursor straight up like that and press enter. Alright, now this is your helix, if you want to call that, on a cone. A simpler version of this. Alright, if it was 2 turn, then you know it would double up, so on and so forth. Alright, but something I want to do before I go, alright, is that I want to select this spin line here, and I'm going to type CP, copy, grab onto it at any place, for example here. Now you have another copy over here, so simply place it right back there and place another copy. So technically what happened is that you have two copies here now. Alright, what I want to do, I want to go ahead and click on this line, and I'm going to type TR for trim and press enter. Click on this top one here, and then click on this bottom one here. How am I going to do this now? Alright, oh yeah. Then TR, then click on this one here. Let me make sure I have this. Move. I'm going to move it out a bit like this. Okay. Alright, so I see what's going on. So now I'm going to simply just draw a line across here and make sure that ortho is on, and I'm going to trim away everything that is below this line. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because when you think about an helix or a thread, right? Some part is going to be visible, some part is not going to be visible. Alright, because if this is a cone, you can't see, if you hold up your pen in front of you, you will not be able to see what is behind the pencil. Alright, so this is why I separate these, so this now will now become a hidden detail line to represent the hidden portion of the thread or the helix that is behind the cone. And you'll do this for the helix that is on a cone, helix that is on a shaft, just as this one here. Alright, so believe it or not, this is it. You have completed your helix upon a cylinder. Alright, now so that we know you draw, now that you have drawn your helix, what you're going to do now is that in some cases you might want to shade some part or show some visual effects and all that stuff. All that is not necessary. This is all that is needed. The only thing that is missing here is for you to add your dimension. Again, what I say, whatever they give to you, you dimension those. Alright, click on this one here, diameter, click on this. Alright, see, there we go. And then you'll add your name to it, helix on a cylinder, and don't forget to add your scale. And I like to make my scale half whatever the title is, 1 to 1 as usual. So if this is 9, then I want to make this about 4. Alright, and let me just cut down on these as well. So let's make that 7. Alright, looking lovely. Alright, there you go. We have completed our helix. If you find this video helpful, please remember to go ahead, leave a like, share it with your friend who needs to learn how to do this one for his SBA or for a class task. Alright, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.